Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. Bound to be some technical difficulties. That was the wrong button. See, told you. Bound to be some technical difficulties. It's Friday the 13th. Something's either going to go horribly wrong, or we'll all be murdered and someone will break in and do something nasty. I don't know. It might just be a UK thing, Friday the 13th. No, it can't be, because of the films and stuff. Anyway, it's an unlucky day, apparently. So hopefully we'll not have any more problems, and... Sorry, I just saw a message there that didn't make any sense, but we'll start off by saying hello to a few people. We've added a new feature. I don't know whether this is going to be any use, or just really annoying. So, you know, if I lose sound, we can just read out comments. I get comments every now and again that, well, I get some comments that say, oh, I really like your voice, it's so soothing and I like to listen to it, and other people going, what's he saying? What's that? Don't understand a word that man says. So, we have Freshwater Ichthyology saying, hi from a rainy Bristol. Hans is in from Sweden. Stuart from a dark, cold, wet and windy Wolverhampton. Dangerous Dan's here. Lisa, I've just finished a mini heat wave in Dublin. Well, it was nice here last week as well, I must admit. Not so much the last couple of days. I have been working on a new video. I don't know if you can see it. No, because that's the wrong way. But I have relocated the discus. They're now over there. There. That's my money-saving attempts for this year. So I don't have my discus in the cold hall anymore. I've been working on the video for that. It's just taking me all bloody week because I keep getting distracted because I've done other things. You might not be able to tell. But we've done more. I'll take you for a little tour. Well, let's see, does the GoPro work? The GoPro works. Thank goodness. Right, so I can take you for a little tour later as well. Some kind of heat wave thing during the weekend in Bristol. I had to take my coat off, it was that hot. Lee Pollitt, good evening from Bolton, good evening from Sheffield. Silver Surfer's in. Stillwater, did I miss the technical difficulty? Well, you missed me pressing the button that I thought was the technical difficulty, which should do this. But I pressed the wrong button. So that was my technical difficulty so far. I'm sure something's going to go wrong. It's Friday the 13th. Hello everyone, I suppose I should do the intro. Welcome to the Aquarium Adventures live stream, Fishy Business, every Friday at 9 PM UK time. This is an aquarium based live stream. That is an aquarium, that is a fish. That's about as aquatic as we get on the Friday nights usually. But yeah, any questions on fish or anything else, any topics of discussion, all is welcome. This is just a bit of a chance to relax, enjoy a calming glass of Pepsi Max. No beer this evening. It's 2 weeks in a row I've got no beer. But there are reasons. We'll get to it. Lanx Fishkeeper, evening from a wet Preston. The log fire is on. Oh, I got the log fire on last night because it was a bit chilly. I almost swore. Evening all, don't forget to hit you like on your way in. Sorry my chat was late, been talking on Discord about cheese. Right, handy hint. Every week we do a quiz. This week there are going to be some cheese questions. I can't remember why, but there was a lot of cheese chat last week, so I've incorporated it in the quiz now. I think it was National Cheese Week or Cheese Day or something. So, there you go, handy hint. If you want to spend the next 55 minutes boning up on all your cheese facts, go for it. Whether it'll help, I don't know. So, there is going to be a prize. Last week's prize winners did not get in touch with me. I think it was Soren and Silver Creek. you need to send me an email if you're watching this, either now or on replay, going, oh, he's not sent me my prize. I don't know where to send it. You need to send me an email to talk amongst yourselves. That email address, graham@aquariumadventures.co.uk. So I will have your email address, and then I will send you some kind of voucher. Big Shrimpin, aka Steve C, says hello, hello, hello. John Foyman replies with a single hello. The AI reading thing didn't really work. It's quiet and sounds like it's in a foreign language. Well, it was in English, but it might have been quiet. I'm going to punish you by making you...
Also, the AI reading didn't really work as it's quiet and sounds like it's in a foreign language.
That might be a bit louder. Warmer, I almost said. Who knows? Elizabeth's just put the heating on. Cold in Gloucestershire tonight. Yes. Have you got a new camera? It looks clearer. I have not got a new camera. I have got a new cable connecting my camera to the computer. So last week's fest, I thought I would fix that by getting a new camera. In fact, have I got the old cable? I think rats had got to it or something. That basically had bare wire showing through it. Someone had chewed through it, and that might have been the cause of my problems last week. But it's just started doing it again, so I think it's very boringly. I have a micro HDMI connected to a capture card. That's giving me the higher resolution picture, and then I also have USB connecting, which gives me the camera staying on, because otherwise it shuts off every 30 minutes. And the USB, I think, needs replacing as well, because that's an old cable. But anyway. But yes, it does look better, doesn't it? I think so. Hopefully. I forget the date. Luckily I only have one unlucky date, 17th November. I won't be leaving the house or anything on that day. Oh, inquisitive. No beer. No wonder you're ranked 3% on aquarium science. I didn't know whether or not to talk about that. Oh no, Graham's going to do cheesy questions tonight. Then again, nothing new there. I do like a little bit of cheese, I must admit. But yes, there will be some cheesy questions. What do you guys consider cold over there? Now, normally, I think we're just spoiled by mild weather. Normally I wouldn't say anything about, until it gets down to kind of minus something, then it's a bit parky. Because we've been spoiled by 20-degree weather in October, you're kind of like, when it drops into single digits, it's a bit parky. But yeah, what is it now? Here it says it's 7 degrees outside here in Sheffield, and it feels cold when I go out in a t-shirt, but then it would do, but it's not like -7. It's one thing, we get kind of extremes here. So last year we had the super hot weather where I recorded 40 odd degrees Celsius, and then the winter before that we had -15, something like that. So yes, it's a bit mental. Humphrey looks great this week. He does look good, doesn't he? I've also kept some more lights on, so maybe that's a little bit more better. You look back to full health this week. Yes, I am feeling much, much better. I wasted last weekend with the lurgy and being ill. Yes, Baltic, as Scott will say. Just because it's not short, just because it's cold doesn't mean it's not shorts weather. Yes, I know people who will wear shorts no matter the weather. All weather is shorts weather to those people. Sorry, I'm just looking at my security cameras here. I can just see a couple of foxes having a jolly old time in my garden, which is quite fun. But anyway, what was I going to say? Usual admin type stuff. If you like this kind of thing, click the subscribe button, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. If you're new here, say hello in the chat. We are a very friendly bunch. There's no price of admission or anything like that. You just have to say hello. You don't even have to say hello. Just give it a like, a dislike, anything that you want. It's always useful. I'm trying to find that comment that I've just... This. Rebecca informed me on Discord, so if you're into that kind of thing, Discord server's up there. You can join us on Discord chat. That I got a mention on my favourite website. I'm going to have to find it for you now, sorry. Not necessarily my favourite website. It might even be my least favourite website. I kind of feel bad giving it a plug. So, small face. This is the Aquarium Science website, where he does science, but then lists his credibility as, well, you should never do anecdotal evidence, and then lists a series of anecdotes. Criticises the scientific rigour of other scientists, and then proceeds to do his experiments with no scientific rigour and no... it's just awful. So few things I can find. Normally with people that I have polar opposite opinions with, I can find some level of common ground and say, okay, I see where you're coming from. He might be litigious, so I'll have to choose my words carefully. He's a mentalist. He just spawns bullshit constantly and writes it all down on this website. So there's a whole section here about, this is what you should listen to on the internet. Me, don't listen to people on the internet. And then he's a person on the internet saying this. Anyway, he's got his... If I had to rate the video maker, so he talks about YouTubers in a way. And I'm just so happy that I got onto the list. He gives us a score, but Fishy YouTubers gives us a score of our testing prowess, accuracy. So this is the accuracy score I would give them. So number 1, half man, half cichlid, 95%. Aquarium Co-op, 90%. Oh, they're doing good things there. Girl Talks Fish, 85%. Whew. King of DIY. I don't think Joy would give himself a good score there. But then if you scroll all the way down, look who's second to last. Yay! That almost made my day. I've obviously pissed him off so much that he's decided to include me. I don't do scientific tests, and I don't claim to do scientific tests, so I don't know what I think somebody mentioned earlier, probably talking about your beer tests because they're so super scientific. But yes, this is just hilarious to me. The fact that he's making himself a demonstrably terrible scientist is ranking other people's attempts at science when we're not even making attempts at science. So there is things in there like, if somebody's trying to sell you something, then obviously take it with a bit of caution. That doesn't mean somebody's trying to sell you something they're outright liars. Aquarium Co-op is always trying to sell you something. Yeah, he gets a good score. But this entire website, it just slates things and it plagiarizes things, but he absolutely tears into all kinds of products because they haven't worked in his tests, and then uses the fact that other people have said it worked for them. And this is the mind-boggling bit. I mean, it's difficult to explain. So he will say, I think it was because I made a video about Biohome saying, look, my nitrates got reduced. I even said in the video, causation, correlation, different things. This is just what happened. Since I've had this in and running for a while, my nitrates have reduced. And it didn't for him. And his argument for that was, I'm not testing things properly. I don't know how to test things. I'm not doing a big enough sample size. I'm not doing a proper scientific. I'm not peer reviewing things. I'm not doing this, that, and the other. And then he went on to do exactly those same things to disprove that it wasn't working. So his argument is, it didn't work for me, so therefore it's bullshit. And the argument against me was, well, he's just saying what he's saying. It's not good enough. It's bullshit. And it's littered with this kind of stuff. And just, always call it, the website's called aquariumscience.org. And I always call it aquarium pseudoscience because there's nothing scientific in there. Actual scientists, I'm married to one, look at it and go, no, someone who was actually doing scientific research or practicing science in any way would not say these things. These are the sayings and the doings of a mentalist, pretending to be a scientist. If he ever got a degree, I think he's forgotten anything that he got in said degree, because everything here is, well, don't attack me for not being scientific, because this is just a blog called Aquarium Science, alluding to the fact that he's a doctor and has a chemistry degree, and picking holes in everyone else's. Not even, I don't do science. None of my videos have any scientific merit whatsoever, nor have I claimed them to be of any scientific merit. But he uses that to pull it apart, and everyone else's videos, that people that he doesn't like, basically, that he doesn't agree with. And yes, there are twats out there that do bad things, and yes, by all means pull them apart. But it's just the facade that he puts up, that he's some kind of amazing white knight in the space of the aquarium hobby that's going out there giving us the good information. Don't listen to anyone on the internet except me. The internet's full of idiots saying stupid things except me. He is literally and demonstrably doing the things he says you should avoid doing. And then all these pictures, not his, all nicked. There's a whole piece in here about saying, well, yeah, I've just chosen all these pictures. Dilbert cartoons, he's not the guy that writes Dilbert. And he claims that I'm allowed to use copyrighted material because it's fair use. This is the level of idiocy that the whole site should be taken. I mean, he's productive. He produces a lot of bullshit. Even talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect and how he's doing this. He's doing it. Anything he's accusing anyone else of doing, he's doing. But these pictures he's using, and he makes a statement about, well, yeah, I have used them and I'm not giving credit because I'm not trying to profit off them. That's not the bar of when you're allowed to do copyright theft or not. It's not whether or not you make money from it. You should always credit people anyway, regardless. But you have to add value. You have to give some commentary, some criticism. Use it to add weight to something you're trying to explain. You're not just I want to make my website pretty, so I'm going to get a nice red fish and put a picture of that nice red fish there. And Dilbert cartoons. But yeah, it's all very much, oh, look how clever I am, by saying and doing really stupid things. So anyway, that's my one thing. If he's got a blog that he can say, spout nonsense about what he thinks is the right way and the wrong way to interpret data and who you should listen to and who you shouldn't listen to, I've got a YouTube channel, and I've got it's a podcast now. I saw it on a podcast site. I've got a live stream and a podcast, and I say, don't listen to this nutter. He's a complete mentalist. Almost everything in here is absolute crap. Have a look at some of the scientific methods that he uses, and even the the layest of laymen can pick holes in some of his scientific methods, and it's just nonsense. The author. This is where he talks about it here. It's the way he talks about himself in the third person a lot. The author, David Bogart, LaBelle, Florida, has kept... I think he is Florida Man. You know when you see things about Florida Man tries to chat up alligator, gets eaten. It's that level of stupidity. Has kept many aquariums of all sorts and over the last 56 years, but note he is not an expert. See, this bit here he says he's kept many aquariums of all sorts for over 56 years. In the other pages he says, lots of people claim to have kept aquariums for a long time and that makes them an expert. Don't listen to these people. He's claiming that same thing. It just... the author has a BS in chemistry. I think that means a bullshit in chemistry. Something which is useful only in the sections of chemicals like water chemistry, rocks, silicons, conditioners, fertilizers. I remember the first thing that he fell out with me about was we met on a Facebook group, and he always used to post his things on Facebook would be someone would say, ask a question, they'd be like, how does KH work? And he would respond by saying, you should Google, and then like a whole paragraph which was just a search term directed at his website. And we used to just say, why don't you just put the answer? Oh, well, I think it's easier if the people can read a bit more about it and it doesn't confuse it for everyone else. And like, yeah, so drive traffic to your website then. Oh, yes, but my website's free, I don't earn any money off it. But why do you claim it's not your website? Because he used to claim that it wasn't his website. He said, like, this is a really useful resource I've seen. Oh, that's just the way SEO's done. You're like, oh. Flip off. Thought processes of the author. The author generally uses 3 ways to justify statements on this website. Brilliant. This is, we're going to get really scientific here. Simple logic and common sense. 0 of that there. Experiments with computerized statistical analysis of the data. Go and look at that. That's hilarious. Journal articles and books. So he misinterprets journal articles and books and picks the ones that apply to the thing that he's trying to say. Doesn't understand what computerized statistical analysis is or how it works. And simple logic and common sense means something different to him than it does to anyone else in the universe. But other than that, it's all perfectly fine. He slags everyone off for using opinions and anecdotal evidence, and then says, this is a blog, not a science journal paper, so in addition to science, of which there is none, I occasionally use his own opinion, anecdotal evidence. There's literally pages and pages of saying, oh, the only evidence here is anecdotal, these people, so they're clearly wrong, because anecdotal evidence is useless. A double standard. Many will criticise the author for not providing a CV that proves his abilities, akin to Albert Einstein. No, that's not what the problem is here. You claim to be a doctor. You claim to be a scientist, yet provide no proof that you're a doctor or a scientist. You slag off everyone else because they have no credentials in a scientific field, and then provide none of your own. That's why it's a double standard. You are a walking, talking double standard, Mr. Bogart. But anyway. I think that's quite enough for him. I'm not a fan, so I'm going to use my platform. This is my platform, I can say what I want. In my opinion, that guy's a nutter. That website's crap. I'm this close to hacking it live on stream, but that might get me arrested. But yeah, just stay away from it. Sorry, I have to. Oh, I've seen Silver Creeks here. Tommy, you won last week. You need to send me an email to email address, and then I can send you a thing. I don't want to spend hours going over this. I didn't like the guy when I spoke to him on Facebook groups. I don't like any of his website. I think it's all nonsense. If you want to debate anything that I think, if you want to debate me and tell me that it might be wrong, I am 100% open to be convinced that I'm wrong. I'm often convinced that I'm wrong about things. I change my mind about things all the time. But it has to make sense to me. I have to believe. If I think something is right, I have to be convinced that it's wrong. I'm not just going to take... No, because here, I'll prove to you that you're wrong, Graham, by... It's almost like saying, you think 2 plus 2 is 4? That can't be the case because you spell egg with an E. You're like, what? That's not in any way related. One of the... I don't even know if it's up. I'm going to have a look at it. But one of the things it used to do was... I think he did a test of CChem matrix or something like that, where he kept referring to extensive testing, that I've tested CChem matrix in extensive testing, and then his extensive testing was testing it in different sized aquariums, not even that many aquariums, with different size of bioload and different time periods. And then came to a conclusion based on all these things that you could not possibly draw a conclusion from. Yeah, and he just gives up numbers for things. So it's like, this is the thing I like, so I'm going to put that at the top and I'll give that a score of 25. And then this is the thing I don't like, I'll put that at the bottom and give that a score of 4. Nowhere does any of this get explained. And then just says things like, well, simple mathematics and scientific principles. And you're like, yeah, but which ones? Marks. Computerized statistical analysis. I don't think he knows what he thinks he means by that. Because one of the arguments, and I'm possibly misremembering this, so I do apologise to anyone who might be involved, but somebody had said something along the lines of, you've tested this in 2 aquariums for a very short period of time, that's not statistically significant. And he came back and said, yes, but it was computerized. It was I ran a computerized statistical analysis package on the 2 tests that I did, and it proved that they were statistically significant. The fact that that can't be true. Those 2 things do not work together. They are different things. You cannot take a field size of 2 and make it statistically significant when the real world example are many, many millions of things. But anyway, I made it onto the list, so I'm quite proud of that. I was quite happy about that. So many times you think, does anyone even know I exist? I mean, it'd be nice if it was for good things that I'd done, or entertaining things that I'd done, rather than someone who doesn't like me has put me on a list of terrible people. But hey, I'm on a list. Some lists are good, some lists are bad. But anyway, that's where we got to. So I'm going to jump over a whole bunch of things, because I'll probably get to the point where I just end up rant over. Have you seen Pond Guru's latest video? I have not. I wonder if I ever noticed who he was. David Bogart. He used to post as himself, and then claim not to be the owner of said website. Elizabeth says, question, first time owning a flowerhorn. So the question thing doesn't work anymore, by the way. I've changed my streaming setup a little bit, so I don't know how to just put it in big letters or something. Question, first time owning a flowerhorn. Is a young one a thumb length? Oh, it's a young one that's a thumb length. Well, my thumb or your thumb? What is best, floating, sinking? Thank you. Floating, surely. Or do you mean the food? Yeah, you want a floating fish. You don't want a sinking fish. You're going to have to test both, I think. So, Humphrey here, he does not really like floating foods. So, if you can, for him, a slowly sinking food is pretty good. That's kind of spot on for him. If things float on the surface, he just kind of ignores them. I have heard from other flowerhorn keepers, so when I was watching videos about flowerhorns, trying to learn about them, people would be quite happy with floating foods and they would recommend them all the time. So it might work for you, especially if they're younger. So younger fish can be a little bit more haphazard before they get into a habit of, this is how I feed now. If they're younger, they might take floating foods a little bit better. I've heard stories about floating foods causing them to trap air in them not because of their nuchal humps not being the best at being stable, and sometimes trapped air can make them. I've never seen it, so I don't know how normal that is, but a couple of different people have mentioned it. But for Humphrey, I like a mix of frozen foods and dry foods, and the dry foods I try and go for the slowly sinking kind. Floating might be easier at first. Is it feeding? Feeding coil, that's a good one. You're wrong. I'm always right, even when you're wrong. I often change my opinion on things when the missus says, no, I do often change my opinion on things. I pride myself in my ability to admit when I'm wrong. It's something I'm almost professional at because I'm wrong so often. I don't understand that, because you see them all the time, and I'm sure everyone sees them in every line of work and every line of everything. There are people who have a certain mindset, whether it's a position of power, whether it's who knows what it is, but once they have made a decree, they stick by that no matter what. I am very much happy to be convinced. Nothing makes me happier than someone proving why what I said is wrong and we should do it a different way. So if I'm at work and I have said, well, we're going to spend 10 days and we're going to do it like this, and someone comes along and says, actually, if we spend 15 days and do it like that, it'll actually be easier, and I'll go, yeah, alright then, and if it's true, we'll go with it. Or I'll make a statement like, this is how this thing works, a purple widget will come down from the sky and it will install itself over here, and then someone more experienced will come along and say, that's not how purple widgets work, Graham. You do it like this, and I have to go, oh, sorry, got that wrong, it's like this. Those scenarios are far better than just, no, la 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 la, not listening, no, do it my way, and then it all fails, and then you have to explain a failure. Why not admit defeat early, or admit a mistake early, so as you can rectify it and deliver a better outcome? Don't get me wrong, I'm as stubborn as a... What's the word for stubborn? Stubborn as a goat? I don't know what... I'm stubborn as well, but I don't like to think that I wouldn't ever be convinced I was wrong about something. There are some things I will die on a hill about, but yeah, not many. I enjoy his content. Whose content? But politics is not what I tune into filter reviews for. Oh, is this Pun Guru? He's an interesting chap, his Pun Guru. The story of the rant is don't piss off. No, he really didn't piss me off that much. It's just when you read this website, the amount of effort he's gone to make himself look like a scientist. Computers don't always tell the truth, and they are only as reliable as the data is. Exactly. A computer will only do what you tell it to do. So if you tell it to say something fucking stupid, it will say something fucking stupid. And I suspect that is what he's doing. Computerized statistical analysis equals I read it on the internet. Yes. Talking from someone who has spent a week collecting data to be told maybe it's not worth doing it quantitatively. Yes. It's always worth doing it. You know why? Because it's your life. If it brings you knowledge or joy, it's never a waste. But sometimes they're a waste. I would take that with a pinch of salt. But yes, if it kind of, for me, it goes back to the saying of if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But ultimately, if you spend your time doing something with no value, you have to find pockets within that. So I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't know if that is someone with more experience saying, like, this is heading down a dead end. Your efforts might be better spent somewhere else. Sometimes you have to try it and fail and then go back, and sometimes you have to give up straight away and focus on something else that's going to be more productive. But choice is yours. At least he ranks you in his top 33 fish YouTubers. I know. I found myself on another site recently. What was it called? I can't remember now. But I got an email from someone saying, we've had a nomination for your YouTube channel to list you in the top 100. Was it top? I think it might have been top 150. It wasn't fish tubers, but it was a term like, I'll dig it out for next time. But if it was at the top 150, you've been nominated, would you like to see this? Yeah, alright then. So I went across, and I was number 150. So, thanks. Floating fish might not be good either. Good point. Yeah, sinking and floating fish can both be bad. You want kind of in the middle. If you have a question for Graham, tag Aquarium Adventures. Works great. If you're on mobile, unfortunately it won't work properly. Google doesn't recognise phones as content devices. To be honest, the thing that I'm using now doesn't recognise that either, so no biggie. I'll just try and get to them. If I'm reading messages that are past where your message was, feel free to ask it again. Bug bites is good. Some floats, some sinks quick. Best of all worlds. Yeah, and this is Humphrey's staple food. A lot of people are quite dismissive of hikari, but this is sinking cichlid gold, the medium pellets, and they all sink, but some will float for a little bit, and then we'll do that. Fluval, bug bites, same to a degree. He will eat them. He's fine with them. They tend to float a bit quicker, sink a bit quicker. If you crush up the bites a bit, they float longer too. Good tip. I'm very sad Graham didn't highlight how awesome Aquarium Breeder is. Well intentioned based on research studies. I don't... Is that one of his things? Aquarium Breeder? May I just say that Fish Science, a company not connected to the website, so Fish Science is a very different thing to Aquarium Science. Fish Science is an aquarium food manufacturer run by an actual doctor. Oh no, I might be making that up actually. I can't remember now. But yeah, I've had some Fish Science foods in the past. Perfectly happy with it. Aquarium Adventures question: is it tank maintenance day tomorrow, but don't want to upset the new fish, so they skip maintenance as they're settling better day by day? No, they have to get used to it. Sometimes the maintenance you do can actually help, because they realise eventually, oh, they're not trying to kill me. That big hand with the big hose. So, I mean, it's up to you. If you don't need to do any tank maintenance, if you don't need to do a water change, if your parameters are fine, skip it. But I mostly like to just stick to a schedule and go for it. Humphrey, stop it. Humphrey is going to have brain damage. What is that? See? What is his problem? You cannot get me. You're in there, I'm out here. Water, air, glass. Moron. I think what's great about your channel is you're ever changing and learning and wanting to learn, doing research and actually asking hobbyists. Yeah, the one thing I will agree with David is that I don't think anyone can really ever be an expert, because this is such a wide-ranging hobby. If you think about it, if I was to claim to be an expert, I think that my channel history has shown how much I'm not an expert in many areas. Of all the fish that I've killed, of all the tanks that I've built that have leaked, of all the bad decisions that I've made when trying to house fish together. But I like to think I have learned from those things, and that's where my stubbornness comes in. Mega tank should have been binned off many, many moons ago. But look, it's still there. It's still holding water. I have literally had hundreds, if not thousands, of comments saying, just give up. Give it a rest. It's never going to work. Don't do it. It's a stupid idea. It's working now. So, yes, I do like to learn. Sometimes I don't learn very easily, but I do like to learn. Mule. This is a problem with chat. You're probably answering a question I asked 5 minutes ago that I can't remember now. Stubborn as a mule. No, stubborn as an ox. Stubborn as an ox? Stubborn as a goat. Did I say goat? Is that what we're talking about? Oh, am I high? Who knows what's going on? Good morning from Australia. Good morning, Todd River Aquatics / John. How are you? Nice to see you here. You and I might be the only sober people on this stream. I'm drinking Pepsi Max. Just a quick shout out, because we've got 15 minutes until the quiz. Soren and Tommy, if you are here, you won last week, so send me an email. Otherwise, you're out. Right, that's okay, that's done. Save that. What are we on now? Sign in again. So we're about to do the quiz in 15 minutes time. I'll just make sure it logs in properly and then we can... What week are we on now? 131 of these. Whew. So at 10 o'clock we will do the quiz, but in about 5 minutes I will post the link so everyone gets a good chance to get in time before we start. If I collated my expenditure on beer, I could have had a massive fish room by now. Couldn't we all? Couldn't we all? Top 150 out of 8 billion people in the world is pretty darn good. That meaning you're top 0.1%. Do you know what? That's what I took away from it. I thought, well, you know, that's not too bad. I mean, if you can get to the top 150 of anything that's a global phenomenon. And then I found out that he wanted money for it, so it was to get listed on a website where they would drive traffic towards my channel. It was basically it's not a scam, but it was like what in the olden days would have been called like an MCN, a management network, or some kind of, basically they take a cut of everything, and it was just like a new version of doing that. And I was like, you're trying to entice me by giving me the last position in the ranking of things of people who are not going to sign up to your thing. Aquarium Adventures. I'm planning a 30-litre dirtied tank. Have you ever done one? If yes, any hints and tips or pitfalls? I have done many dirtied tanks. It's one of my more favourite ways of doing aquascaping. Hints and tips, except that it is going to become a bit of a mess. So you see lots of aquascaping channels out there telling you about you put your dirty tank in and then you put your sand cap on and everything's going to be lovely. It won't. Over time, especially dependent on what kind of fish you keep in there, so anything that will nuzzle around in the sand is eventually going to dig up the dirt. The plants themselves will eventually dig up the dirt and kick up the dirt as the roots start to move and expand. So if you can accept that, then you're fine. If you can go for rather than putting on a white sand cap or a light coloured sand cap, a dark coloured sand cap, or something dark gravel, something like that, that can kind of mask that a little bit, so that can help. But as for hints and tips, just a thicker substrate than you think you need will make it last as long as you make it last a little bit longer. But yeah, it's a very good way of doing it. No real pitfalls. Pitfalls would be depending on what your dirt is. So a dirty tank, I've always just used compost. So the first time I did it, I thought, oh, I'll use organic compost. That's definitely the stuff I want. It's not the stuff you want. You want the cheapest, dirtiest, nastiest compost there is going, because there's nothing added to that stuff. Even the organic stuff has been cleaned or treated in a way sometimes where they'll take stuff out, or they'll clean things out by treating it so as it doesn't have any excess phosphates or excess this, that, or whatever it is. So organic isn't as good as it sounds. That might be a pitfall. So just go for the cheapest. You just want plain compost, nothing in it. Other than that, it should be good. I like Kakari. Lots of people don't. I don't know why. I prefer natural. I may just start making my own bug bites. I do have a 4-shelf dehydrator. I did look into, obviously I sell fish food on my website. If you're in the UK, aquariumadventures.co.uk. I did look into commercial operations that would sell me, well, they would actually process it as well and everything. The black soldier fly larvae that's quite often used for bug bites and things like that. And looked into, could I do it myself? And with, I mean, you need quite a bit of equipment, but you could do it, but I think I would have to do it on such a scale. I don't think I'm big enough to be able to do it to make any money back anytime soon. No relation to that moron. He might not be a moron. It's just my opinion that he's one. Aquarium Breeder is a shrimp keeper and has some articles about the hobby. Well-intentioned source of helpful information for care for things. Very good. To be fair, Graham, he knows your history, probably figures it can't be too long before something leaks and he can get out there. Question, can you feed Gordon? I can feed Gordon, yes. I can go mobile as well. This is where I went wrong last week. And I didn't turn the sound up on my microphone, so hopefully you can hear me, otherwise you're about to see me. This is Gordon's favourite food, it's called Massivore Delight. .8 goldfish per pellet. And all the fish in here pretty much eat these pellets, so I hope Gordon got one. But if you notice, even the silver dollars, they take them, but they just kind of push them around for a while before they actually eat them. Funny little guys. That's it. That was like 25 goldfish you just got, guys. How much more do you want? So, here's the big news. If a Hakka puffer has been moved into this tank, he's had a bit of an upgrade. I've basically cleaned out all the tanks. But yes, here's the discus. I've kind of done a little bit of escape. Just keeping it a very basic. There'll be a video coming out tomorrow or Sunday possibly. It's very much about saving money. Here's my little trio of rams. But yeah, this is new. I'm trying something. So normally where I have my lights and stuff, I've done this and I can't tell if I like it or not yet. I'm trying to make it look a little bit more ordered, a little bit more just nice. I love the industrial look of the big dog racking and stuff, but I spend a lot of time down here now, so I'm thinking if I can just make it that little bit nicer, it might be that little bit nicer. Over here, this is the grow out tank, so you can see the smaller silver dollars over there and the sand goby. I've put in the big cactus pleco that's at the back there, but you can't really see that. So, yes, video coming soon. I've shot it, I just haven't edited it, and I don't think I'm going to get a chance to edit it. Because tomorrow I'm going to Alton Towers. Whoop whoop. This is where I come back to the desk and find that no one's been able to hear me for the last 5 minutes. Pardon me. Right. Quiz time. I'm about to put in... Oh no, we don't want to do that. I'm about to share a link to the quiz. Oh Jesus, that's loud. So, where is... Does that work? I think it did. The aquarium at Alton Towers is pretty cool. I nearly got a job with sea life. Yes, that's kind of long-standing family joke, but every time we go to Alton Towers, I quickly run round the Sea Life Centre as if I'm going to find something new there. You heard me loud and clear, yay! Road mics for the win! How about let's feed Graham with the curry fish foods? Ooh. I don't think poor Gordon got one. Or Forden. Or Horden. It's Gordon. I think he got at least one. Just checking back. Sorry, I'm in a little wormhole in there. Silver Creek says, that's it, I'm declaring it now. I am the greatest, the best scientist, the best at everything. Do you know, a lot of the people who are regarded as the best at something or very good at something, that's how they get there, because they just tell everyone they're the best. Sometimes that's all it takes. I can't catch up, so if you've asked me a question I've missed it, try again later. Phil's in! Hello Phil. The music is drowning me out. It's a bit loud. Is that better? Thank you, Scott. You're always keeping me honest. Right, we have... Now it's too quiet. Can we find a happy medium? When I visit zoos, I largely skip most of the otters and penguins though. They are very generic animals. There might even be a penguin question tonight, so... You've got 30 seconds to Google everything you can about penguins while I get a drink. Like, I'm treating myself. I'm not even on the old Soda Stream Pepsi Max. It's actual Pepsi Max. Perfect. That's what we want to hear.
Scott Haddow says. Perfect.
Are we ready, people? Well, I spill my drink everywhere. Are we ready? We've got 16 people, that's all we're getting. That's fine. Here we go. Get ready. How many players are on a rugby team? Is it 11, 8, 17 or 15? It's a nod to the Rugby World Cup, which is currently ongoing. I think I meant union. To be honest, I don't know the difference. I do. I watched the Scotland versus whoever it was last weekend. I just sat there going, I don't know what's happening. I can't tell. It is 15. It's not 11. That's football. Juggler, fastest finger first there. Question 2. In the Wallace and Gromit universe, shout out to the Discord early birds, what do they enjoy a lovely bit of? Is it Stilton, Wensleydale, Stinking Bishop or Carpilly? All of which are cheesies, for those of you who aren't into cheese. Stuart didn't get the link. Scroll up a bit. It's up there. You can join. You missed the first couple of questions, but you can still join in. Shadow got that one quickest. Shadow did make a strong, bold comment that any cheese questions he'd be up there. How tall is an emperor penguin? 3 foot, 2 foot, 4 foot, 1 foot. It is 4 foot tall. I'm sure there are some 3 foot tall ones. I should have worded it differently, I admit, but still. Juggler with a commanding lead after 3 questions. How long will that last? Which band used this image as an album cover? Blur, Primal Scream, Happy Monday's Oasis. It was, of course, Primal Scream. Timmy, well done. Question 5. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold is the opening line to a song by which band? I appreciate that's quite a wordy question, and I apologise. Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, or The Beatles? It is, of course, Led Zeppelin. Stairway to Heaven. Denied. That was 2.5 seconds for most people. I think that was mostly reading the question rather than thinking about it. What is a wheel of cheese known as? A carl, a pickle, a truckle, or a bannel? It's a truckle. Well done, 6 people. That cheese googling has really paid off. What is Jean-Claude Van Damme's favourite cheese? It is Limburger, because that's a Belgian cheese. I took some liberties with that question. I couldn't find any information on what his actual favourite cheese is, and he wouldn't return my calls, so I had to make a guess. That of all the cheeses, he would like the Belgian one. Name the odd one out. Betterfish, Molly, Endler, Guppy. So what do 3 of them have in common that the other one doesn't? Betterfish is correct. It's the only non-live bearer. Even though Wikipedia lists it as a live bearer. I don't get that, but... Oh, Shadow's made an appearance in the top 5. There's more cheese questions to come, don't worry. Ganoid, placoid and ctenoid are all types of what? Reptile skin, fish scales, tropical vegetation or mammal hair? They are, of course, fish scales. Struggling with the fish questions these days. I think I might have asked everything there is to ask about fish. By law, which cheese can only be produced in the 3 counties of Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Nottinghamshire? Feta, Wensleydale, Cheddar or Stilton? It's Stilton. Wensleydale's from Yorkshire, Cheddar's from Cheddar. Well done, Mona Lee. Scott was at 3rd at one point, he'd like everyone to know. What are the holes in Swiss cheese called? Wells, eyes, clouds or bubblets? They're called eyes. Oh, you're rattling through these questions tonight, folks. Which film won the most Oscars? Titanic, The Shawshank Redemption, Slumdog Millionaire, or Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers? Titanic. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King would have tied with Titanic. And Ben-Hur, I think, is the other one. They've all got 11 Oscars. Titanic is a painful movie, so you've heard of a movie made before the year 2000. Which country does Gruyere cheese originate from? Switzerland, Italy, Netherlands or France? It is Switzerland. Well done, 3 people. Does sound French, but nope, it's Switzerland. Question 14. Which small colourful fish has a spiny dorsal fin and a mouth shaped like a parrot beak? Congo tetra, Bolivian ram, Midas cichlid or Bosmani rainbow? Is it Bolivian ram? That's the description. I don't see it, but Timmy is in the lead with 5 questions to go. What country is this? England, Kenya, Norway or Finland? Well done, everyone except one person. It was England. I thought about rotating it 180 degrees to see if that would confuse people, but I don't know. What is a fear of Friday the 13th called? Tridick-Fridophobia, Figatricadicophobia, Jean-Claude Van Damme-phobia or Unluckophobia? It's the blue one. Frigatrixadiskiaphobia. Obviously. I mean, who didn't know that? Shadow's back up to 3rd. I know I shouldn't root for anyone, but I'm rooting for Shadow on this one. What was the cause of the pink glow over Yorkshire skies recently? Apologies to everyone who doesn't live in the United Kingdom. Northern lights, greenhouse growing plants, firework testing or UFOs? It was a greenhouse growing plants. It was a very, very big greenhouse, but nevertheless it was a greenhouse. Because of the cost of living crisis, they switched from their white bulbs to pink bulbs. And in the evenings, drawing in. Simone Biles became the most decorated gymnast in history this week. Which event did she win? Was it rings, vault, uneven bars, or beam? It was beam. I think no one knew that, and you all guessed. That's my hypothesis of that one. Oh, Laura Cardy is in first with 2 questions to go. How many films are in the Friday the 13th franchise? 6, 13, 12 or 17? 17. Oh, only 2 people got this right. There's 12. It should have been 13. Surely they need to make another one. 13 Friday the 13ths. Brian and SGH, the only ones to get any points there. So Rebecca still in the lead. Last question. What score did the worst fish-keeping pseudoscientist website in existence, which the author wears as a badge of honour, give Aquarium Adventures for testing accuracy? Not that I'm bitter. It was 2%. Well done, everyone. And the winner is Laura Cartier with 170 points. Well done. Congratulations. I assume that's Rebecca. With 12 questions correct. Oh my goodness, look at this. Spooky Neon with 14 questions correct. So, Spooky Neon, I feel sorry for you. You was robbed. You got 2 more questions right. You just obviously took your time. You're a little bit of a thinker. You thought it through. 60% of the questions correct. Timmy, 50-50 with those ones. See if there's any other anomalies. So, look at this. Way down here. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11th place got the same amount of correct answers as 2nd place. And it's tighter at the top. Soren, fall from grace from last week's win. Soren, you need to send me an email. I need to send you a voucher for your epic win. Well done, everyone, for trying. That's all we can say. One day, I might pay for the upgrade to see what other things we get to see there. Anyone got any questions about any of the questions? Any disagreements? So I can robustly rebut them. We had more incorrect answers than correct. Only 44% of correct answers. That means I'm leaning too heavily towards hard questions. I'd rather you all got more correct and then it was a bit fairer for everyone. I was struggling a bit this week for questions. It was a little bit of a rush job. But congratulations, everyone. Thank you very much for playing. Hope you enjoyed it. And well done to the winners, whoever you may be. Pardon me. The cheese questions were funny. I'm confused about the Bolivian one, right? Okay, I am too, but let me run through these. My sets. What number are we on? 131? So this is what's freed of Friday the 13th. It's Frigga triskaidekaphobia. Nobody knows why Friday the 13th has become an unlucky date. First published in the early 19th century, someone wrote a book and said, as everyone knows, Friday the 13th is an unlucky date. And that was the earliest ever recording of it. And just it stuck. Holes in Swiss cheese are called eyes, that's fine. By law, Stilton is the only one that can be produced in the 3 counties of Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Nottinghamshire. Wensleydale is a Yorkshire cheese. Cheddar, you have to be in Cheddar, and Feta is Greek. So Gruyere is from Switzerland. It's a Swiss cheese. A wheel of cheese is known as a truckle. I thought I was being hilarious by going with a Vanel, a Carol, and a Bickle as the other options. How many films are in Friday the 13th franchise? I thought that was too good an option not to put in 12 and 13 as an option. But there are 12. What score did the worst fish-keeping pseudoscience website in existence? I'm definitely getting sued. Take me for all I'm worth. It's not very much. Simone Biles won Beam and Floor to give her, I think, 14 gold medals. So rings isn't an event. Uneven bars she was second in, and vault she was second in. The pink glow is because there is a massive factory growing plants, houseplants, garden plants, all that kind of stuff, like a nursery, and they switch their lights over from. I'm claiming this is a fish keeping question because they switched the lights over from T5s and T8s, fluorescent bulbs, which were white, to LED bulbs, so grow lights with LEDs. They're getting a higher yield, so they kept their lights on longer, and as the days were drawing in, it was getting dark before they were turning off the lights. Pink glow in the skies, everyone thought it was UFOs, or the Northern Lights. Most of you thought it was the Northern Lights. I can't believe everyone didn't get this. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. And she's buying a stairway to heaven. Sorry for that. Which band uses this? Primal Scream. Bobby Gillespie went to my school. What country is this? It's England. What small colourful fish has a spiny dorsal fin and a mouth shaped like a parrot beak? That was literally, I work backwards when I make these questions quite often. I typed in Bolivian ram description and then took the description from one of the resultant websites, and that's what they said. The Bolivian ram is a small colourful fish with a spiny dorsal fin and has a mouth shaped like a parrot beak. So, sorry. The other one out, betta fish. I was trying to write another question. I was going to pick out something about live bearers, and I typed in something about live bearers, and it gave me the question. It gave me the betta fish back as the answer to live bearers, and I was a bit like, what? I'm pretty sure they're not live bearers. So I picked 3 other live bearers and put that one as the other one. Ganoid, placoid, and ctenoid, or ctenoid. I'm not sure how you say that. Types of what? Fish scales. How tall is an emperor penguin? This is for you, Stuart, if you're watching. This was his question. My number 2 son contributed this question to the quiz because he learned it the other week in school. 4 foot tall. How many players are on a rugby team? There are 15. I assume that is rugby union. Is it different in rugby league? I thought it was. I don't know. I cannot get into rugby. I try all the time, watch it, both rugby union and rugby league. I have no idea what's going on. I like it because everyone seems very polite, and there's none of this play acting that you get in football and stuff like that. But what the hell's going on? Which film won the most Oscars? Titanic won 11, was it? That looks like 10, but I'm sure it was 11. Yeah, 11. So Lord of the Rings, Return of the King had 11, Titanic had 11, Ben-Hur had 11. Therefore, Titanic is the winning answer. Lord of the Rings Two Towers only didn't get 11, even though that was better than Return of the King was rubbish, I thought. What is Jean-Claude Van Damme's favourite cheese? So, cheddar is English, Edam is Dutch, Brie is French, Limburger is Belgian. By that narrative, then that's probably his favourite. All I could find on Jean-Claude Van Damme's personal preferences on cheese was something about cottage cheese. He doesn't mind having cottage cheese every now and again. He's got a bit of a weird diet thing. And in the Wallace and Gromit universe, what do they enjoy a lovely bit of? It's Wensleydale. There's even a Wensleydale cheese, a Wallace and Gromit cheese, which is Wensleydale cheese, with their face on it. There you go. So, I hope that clears it up for you. Teenoid. I guessed correctly then. I said tenoid, so teenoid, tenoid. Potato, potato. The Led Zeppelin question was too long. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to write quiz questions that are pitched perfectly without all the variables. Some are too long to read, and that's unfair to people who are slow readers. Some are geographically swayed one way or the other. So I knew, for instance, there was what one was it? The Yorkshire one. That wouldn't have been in the papers in America. No one cares about that. The Primal Scream, they're not a big band in America, I don't think. So yeah, I'm sorry. I was shocked there was 12 films as well, but if I was going to make something called Friday the 13th, I'd make sure there was 13 of them. I'm not a big fan of horror films as a genre. Not that they're overly scary, I don't get it. Not enjoyable. 13 in league, so rugby union has 15, rugby league has 13. I feel I should say, just for my father-in-law's benefit, I'm a fan of Northampton Saints. Is that a rugby league team? Are they any good? I don't know. We had a bit of an agreement that when my kids were born, if they were any good at football, they'd play football for Scotland. If they were any good at rugby, they'd play rugby for Northampton. Rubbish at both. We don't have flankers in rugby league. Right, fair enough. The point system is wrong, confusing, but at least they don't fake injuries. Yeah, they do. I mean, Scotland were playing... Who was it they were playing? Ireland the other day. And I was like intently watching it, I was like, right, okay, what's happening here? What's going on? Oh, they've done a thing. They've kicked over. Oh, that doesn't matter. And then it'd be, 3 points Gryffindor. And you're like, what? What's happened there? I have no idea what's going on. So I might just have to give up on rugby. My excuse is women don't play rugby in schools, at least when I went. My excuse is I was never into rugby. I kept getting picked for rugby teams, but I think it was just because when I was 12, I was this size. So every time I went anywhere near a rugby team, they were like, oh, you come play rugby, you'll be great at it. And got banned from playing rugby because somebody tackled me. And I thought, that was a bit harsh, so I battered them. Apparently you're not allowed to do that. Speaking of Led Zeppelin, since my ADHD puts me on a timeline of a 15-minute lag, have you heard Robert Plant's new solo stuff? His song Rainbow is one of his most beautiful pieces of work. Pardon me. I have heard some of his solo work, but not anything recent, so I might check that out. Barry, hello. The Led Zepp the Led Zepp song is mega long. Yeah, Stairway to Heaven is a long song. I'm tempted to play it now, but I'll probably get blocked or... Seven minutes 55 for Stairway to Heaven. It's one of the first songs I learned to play on the guitar. If you want if you want club rugby, then league is fantastic. However, the Southerners prefer kick and clap. I don't know what that means either. All the Americans must be watching this going, what? What are they talking about? That's the Union team. Yep, Northampton Saints. I've just looked them up. Rugby Union. Not rugby league at all. Don't know what that means. Not even sure what the difference is. Instant copyright strike. Well, I could play it on guitar and then we'd be pretty safe because it wouldn't sound anything like it. It's beautiful and worth it. It is a good song. Oh, you mean the new one? The first line is, I found a lucky charm and dressed it up with love. If I crossed the 7 seas for you, would that be enough? Stairway to Heaven's the only name I know of a Led Zeppelin song. And then why didn't you answer that in the question then? That was the question. The Fish Room. Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Hello, the Fish Room. How are you? David, nice to see you. Scott, I remember that time you played guitar. That one, that was my proudest moment. What was it? I think it was something like Under the Sea, that Disney song. And I got a copyright. I wanted to frame that and print it out and go, oh, I'm that good on guitar. Play on guitar. Satire is protected from copyright strikes. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side of the camera you're sitting, I don't have a guitar downstairs. All my guitars are upstairs. So otherwise, of course, I would have done. I say I can play Stairway to Heaven. I can play the first bit until the point they go denied. So I can do like the first 8 notes or something. At one point, I could play Stairway to Heaven without the solo. See you in 5 where you go, nah, it's not worth it. You don't want to see that. No. I need an aquarium guitar. I do. I need more hobbies. Yeah, that's what I need. I'm just looking at the discus in my... They've been in a bad mood with me. They've been sat down in the corner. In fact, can I show you this? The discus, when I moved them down here. Oh, I need to change the camera, Graham. Now, I used to talk about Humphrey going in a huff whenever we moved them. Oh, it's doing that jumpy thing again. So the discus have spent the last 2 days huddled in that corner behind that sponge filter. This is the first time they've come out. You see my little baby Elestes tetra there? The one that I found in the sump. But my hope is there's 2 of these, and I can't remember which 2 it is. It's one of these. It's 2 out of these 3 have been breeding like crazy upstairs. So the plan is I'm going to put them into one of these tanks and have that as a breeding tank and let them have a proper go at it. That's the plan anyway. I'm thinking about using this tank as like a plant propagation tank, and just taking cuttings and trying to make my own cuttings and my own plant pots from other plants around the place. Just broke something now, haven't I? Big face. There we go. A perfectly good air guitar behind you. Just use that. Oh, I don't know. I really tried relearning guitar once I cut my hand and lost a finger, but every time I would just start to get used to it, and again my guitar would get stolen. Jeez. I seriously bought the same guitar back from a pawn shop 3 times, where I was just like, F it. Well, maybe move if you're getting robbed that often. Or don't you live in Texas? Can't you just buy a gun? Wouldn't that sort that out? Discus do recognise face. I think they do. I agree 100%. I've seen that where someone will come round to the house, or one of the kids will be like, oh, showing their friends, oh, look at my dad's fish. And Discus will be like that, oh, stranger danger, and then off they go. They hide behind some stuff or whatever, and then I'll walk past and I'll come out and they'll be like, oh, it's the food man, and they'll come out and be like, oh yeah, feed me. I mean, I think it's literally that. It's just, that's the guy that feeds us will come out again. Whereas, even if that is it, they're still recognising my face. So I think that is quite impressive. There was one, I was struggling to make a question out of this, but there was one, let's see if I can find it. It was basically a website that was talking about fish facts, so quite often I'll just Google fish facts, or fish science, or fish whatever, to get something I can use as a question, and it was really clumsily worded, and I thought, well, I'm going to have four lines of text here to get one question out of it, but it was something along the lines of, there are more species of fish, or more diversity within fish than there are in mammals, reptiles, everything added together, and the average brain capacity, or the average mental capacity of a fish is, I will need to have a look at this, but it was something like it's a fifth of that of equivalent primate or an equivalent mammal, yet the capacity of the fish to do cognitive recognition tasks. So basically, long story short, you can teach a goldfish to do tricks you can't teach a small mammal to do, but the small mammal has a brain many times larger than the fish. That's what they were trying to say. So I was trying to make that into a question, but I was like, oof, where do we go for this? But I found that quite fascinating, that these are they had categorized. Can I find it? Otherwise, I'm going to do an aquariumscience.org explanation of how this works. But they had categorized the tasks that they were trying to teach to animals, either based on like food rewards or whatever it would be. They'd no. So they'd measured the cognitive capacity based on brain size, and that was all quite linear. So if you had a smaller brain, then you could do fewer things. If you had a bigger brain, you could do more things. But the teaching side of things, that a fish had a brain a fifth or a third or a quarter or whatever it might be of a comparable mammal, and could do some of the higher cognitive tasks that the mammal couldn't do. I'm going to try to find it. Not that anyone... it was interesting. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to find it. At some point, an Epiphone ultralight flying V isn't just worth the hundreds and hundreds spent. Yes. Tried Temu after watching your video. Got suggested some stick-on nipple covers. Well, if you make the same video I did, you're buying everything Temu suggests for you, and maybe you need some nipple covers. Or as Rebecca says, maybe that's what your fish want. Yeah, my Temu my Temu video. That's 2 videos I've done about Temu, and they're by far my most successful videos of the year this year, both of them. I think we're 2 and a bit days in to the last one, and I've got 4,000 views on it. Last one had something like 10,000 views in the first week. Am I going to turn into a channel that just makes videos about Temu? I think Graham should do a massive guppy tank. I am not adverse to that. I don't mind guppies. I've got some endlers, so I'm thinking about turning one of those tanks into an endler tank. Just to... because I'm a big fan of endlers and guppies, and I've got endlers. I need to stop spending money. That's one thing I need to do. Stop buying things. So I'm trying to reuse, share, all that kind of stuff, rather than spend extra on extras. Judging from the sale of plants at the auctions, it would be a money spinner. You should have seen the Amazon sword that was there on Sunday. At least 3 foot. Wow. And went for 30 quid. Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, my first thought was I like dicking about my tanks, and I've got spare tanks, and I'd like to escape them. But I never have any plants, so I could either buy in bulk and then just keep them there, grow them out for whatever, or take cuttings, whether it's rhizome plants that I can snip and propagate that way. You know about this, Tommy, Mr. Four Fingers. Silver Creek, you sold plants for a while. Were you buying them in, or were you growing them on? I'm just thinking, I've got a bunch of spare tanks. I could grow some plants, and everybody loves plants, and they do seem to be quite profitable. But I'm more thinking about it as the save me money rather than make me money thing. Skiller says, my discus will literally jump around like a puppy seeing its owner. They will also sit in my hand and let me pet them. Weird. I love my stinkers. So I'm going to bring out a video. I've already shot the video, I just haven't edited it yet. I quite often use my hands. So with with most fish, I'll net them out with a net if I'm moving them from tank to tank. With discus, I'll quite often use my hands. And these discus will kind of, I don't want to say they'll willingly come to my hands, but when I catch them with my hands, and I literally just do go, well, catch them, lift them out of the tank, put them into a bucket, catch them out of the bucket, put them into the tank. It might be a push to say they go willingly, but the amount of freaking out they do if I try and net them versus what you do with a hand, and I don't know whether it's just because it's gentler and it's more stressful in a net, I don't know, but yeah, they seem to like me. That's me anthropomorphizing them very much so, but you know. There are more fishies roughly than reptiles, amphibians and mammals combined. That was the fact that I was trying to get to. I think I've asked that question like 4 or 5 times now in the quiz, and it might be a bit much to repeat it again. Fish intelligence is insane. It is. I probably mangled a lot of this, so go and do your own research. Find out for yourself, because I was literally sat at my computer going, what? Say what? A fish can do what? All I can say is Peter's elephant nose, the largest brain to body ratio of any vertebrate, and oxygen consumption to that brain. There you go. Aquarium delirium, going by your latest tank, would be great for guppy breeding. Hope your office build's coming on well. I've been following that along, Aquarium delirium. To be fair, I imagine it's quite hard to teach a gerbil to swim through a hoop on the bottom of a tank. I do not understand gerbils as pets, says Freshwater Theology. The worst is Daegu. I used to have gerbils when I was a kid. That's my thing. I quite liked them. They were nice. Technically, given discus produce mucus for fry all over the body, wouldn't they want the nipple covers for their entire body? Depends if they wanted to produce that mucus or not. So if you had I'm about to say something controversial. If your discus was breeding and you covered it in nipple covers, would the fry be able to feed off it then? Then that would be bad. It might be good for the discus. Maybe. So there's a period when you're breeding discus, there's a period where the stages of discus fry is you have eggs, you have wrigglers, you have free swimmers. When it gets to the free swimmer stage, they feed off the mucus of the parents. So the parents will often darken and produce excess mucus, and that feeds the free swimmers. The next phase after that is the fry get a little bit too greedy and start taking lumps out of the fish themselves, and you can see it. They actually get scarred, they get injuries, they get little chunks taken out of them by the fry. At that point, a discus nipple guard would be useful. But should we be calling it a nipple guard? Maybe we just need to do a bit of marketing here where we repurpose nipple guards as discus fry feeding protectors. That's it. Yeah. Pardon me. We could be on to a fortune here. The glass mug aquarium Blake's Aquatics got off Temu looks nice. Oh, are people copying my Temu aquarium video idea? Gonna have a word with Blake's Aquatics. Daniel Edwards, a fish question. Evening, mate. Internal parasites and sunken bellies in rams. Cloverleaf absolute wormer simply won't shift the infestation. Any other advice? Internal parasites, sunken bellies, cloverleaf absolute wormer. that would be kind of my go-to answer, to be honest. No, sorry, I don't. Let's see if anyone else has got any advice. I just can't think of anything else. I mean, you could try a different brand of warmer. So Cloverleaf Absolute Warmer, if I remember rightly, is that a levamisol based one? But that's the one that I use. Warmer Plus. Trying to find the active ingredient. It's a flubendazole one. So you could try a different warmer with a different active ingredient. So Warmer Plus is flubendazole. There are other ones. So Kusuri, is that, what does that use? That's Kusuri. I'm feeling that might be the same, to be honest. Pardon me. That's flubendazole. Yeah. So you could try a different warmer. There are many out there with different active ingredients. Depending where in the world you are, some will be more or less readily available. The other thing to do would be to, pardon me, join the Discord. Not to what's the word? What's that wrong with that fish? Surely that hurts. Join the Discord. There's probably more explanation we can do, or more investigations we can do. How do you know it's internal parasites? What's the sunken belly? Show us a picture. What else is in the tank? What else is going on? What's the other product parameters? There's lots of other information that can make a difference. As Rebecca's saying, what else is in the tank? How often are you feeding? How much and what are you feeding? Yep, they can all make a difference. But yeah, go along to Discord, show us some pictures, give a bit more information we can get there. Selling plants isn't great for profit here. Yeah, I don't think it is either, I must be honest. I have seen plants at auction sell quite well, but my idea was more for my use. So when I want some plants for a new tank, I have them, rather than having to go out and buy them at retail at the shops. That's what I was thinking. Silver Creek, both. I was buying wholesale and propagating what grows fast. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there is anything that's like a get-rich-quick scheme. Otherwise, the likes of me wouldn't be trying it out, because big business would have taken it over. This is more about niche markets and me being a niche market. So me wanting some plants and not wanting to go to Pets at Home to buy them, or other. Well, there are dedicated aquascaping shops around, and I don't mind supporting them. The majority of fish shops around here, while they have plants, they all just come from Aquaflora or from Tropica or from whatever. I'm getting to the stage where I have enough tanks that I can be my own customer. So if it wasn't for the VAT registration rules that Tropica have, I'd just be buying loads of Tropica plants, get them in at wholesale costs, and then buying them myself. I would be my only customer. But yeah. Aquarium Adventures, one of my Corys has went super obese. The other still slimish. I call them Laurel and Hardy. Does that mean one might be female? There's 3, I think. Probably. I have one of my Sterby corridors down there is enormous. So one of the things I did was I moved my discus tank there. I separated all the sterbai corridorus, moved them into a tank themselves because I found loads of fry. I probably lost loads of fry in the move, but I found loads of fry, so there's certainly breeding groups in there. And within an hour of putting them into their new tank, there was eggs all over. There was eggs all over the glass, so there's definitely breeding groups in there. And there are the same generation of corridors where you might get one that's that size, and then there's another one that's that size, and they're like, Jesus, that's a massive fish. So, yes, possibly. As my son said, well, that one must be the female because it's pregnant or it's just had a baby. And I was like, that's not really how it works with these fish, but there can be a size difference. It's weird that you can look a fish in the eye and they look back. Discus definitely. Knives and mormons, they won't look you in the eye, but there's something going on when they do. I think I kind of know what you mean by that. But if I had my black ghost knife fish, the big one, it would be like just crashing about. Oh, look at me, I'm a big idiot. I'm just going to crash about this. Oh, is that rock meant to be there? Ooh, I'll have that. And then every now and again it'd be like, oh, hello. And I'd catch it and I'd be like, what are you doing? Stop that. That's not nice. And it'd be like, okay. But like maintaining eye contact all the way. And it swam backwards. Craig's Catfish Cave bought half a dozen discus a few days ago. Welcome to the discus world. 22:42 timestamp. Surreal conversation starts. Oh dear, what have I said? I keep saying nipple. Right, where did we get to? I was just going to talk about nipples now. I don't want to talk about nipples anymore. Try a different type of wormer. There we go. Yeah, serious fish chat. There are 3 different main ones. Levamisol, flabendazole and praziquantel. So, depending where you are in the world, you might struggle to get one or t'other of those, but that might be the best one is to try. So if flabendazole is the base of the cloverleaf one, was that right? I can't remember now, but check what the basic active ingredient is and then try a wormer of a different one. Waterlife meds are my go-to for most things. Any other suggestions? Waterlife do some good stuff. Yeah, I've not been bad with them. I only look at ingredients, but do forget on brands. But Kasuri are great. Waterlife, NT Labs. Yeah, Kasuri I've used for a long time. Waterlife I've used fairly successfully. Yeah. Nippolami? What are we talking about now? You lot are weird. I'm not a pathologist, but there are other wormers and each targets different worms and parasites. Yeah. I've never had an issue with Prazi, but it's quite harsh. I've never used Prazi, I must admit. Flabendazole will damage rays. There you go. Nightbot, with the helpful advice for everyone to subscribe to Aquarium Adventures. Thanks, Nightbot. I'm not bougie enough to buy from Tropica. Yeah, well, Tropica have a thing where, in this country anyway, you have to register for VAT before they'll let you sell it or be a supplier. And in this country, unless you're earning 80 grand a year, I think it is, you don't have to register for VAT. And it doesn't make sense to register for VAT until you're earning a lot more than that. And I can't see myself selling 80 grand a year's worth of plants. So I'd love to be able to sell plants on my website, but I cannot find a plant supplier. If you're a plant supplier out there and you're interested, I would love to make all these tanks more planty. And I could use that to sell your plants, but yeah, no. I'm stuck with just propagating my own stuff. Fish treatments are like human medicine. Check the ingredients as many are similar, but dosage might vary. Tropica isn't that common. There are other big brands that retailers use. Yeah, Tropica is... I mean, they are quite common with the big chains, so you'll see a lot of Tropica in Pets at Home, for instance, and some of the chain stores, Maidenhead, things like that. Although, have I seen it in Maidenhead? I might be making that up. But there are a few other places, and I've reached out to the farms directly, or the importers directly. Yeah, their minimum order values, or I don't know whether it's just something that's designed to put people off. It just didn't make sense. If you want Monstera, Epi Premium, etc., I can be a supplier. Otherwise, no. Yeah, I've got some new houseplants. We've been doing a thing recently where my wife has been buying lots of new houseplants, and we seem to be I think I'm preying on the weak at the moment, but we seem to be targeting people who are moving house and realise their houseplants are too big to take with them, so they sell them cheap on Facebook Marketplace. So we've got some Monsteras that are like enormous big things, cheap as chips. Just goes to show the money MD is making. Supplies from Aquafleur. Yeah, so I've seen he uses Aquafleur, and that's one of the ones that I have approached. You could definitely... It's not that expensive. It's just I am a tight Scotsman that doesn't like blowing lots of money on it. But MD will be doing well for himself. That's why I think... We were going to talk about this a few weeks ago. I think he's played a blinder by teaming up with the fish shop Matt. I think that is probably something that's going to go well for both of them. And I wish them well. That's all I can say. But yes, he will be doing well. Maybe we'll talk about YouTube finances on next week's big stream. But for now, we're getting to that time. There will probably be a cold water aquatic stream. I don't know. If there is, pop along, say Aquarium Adventures sent me. If there isn't, join us on Discord. Up there, somewhere. If you won a prize, if you're the prize winner, who won tonight? Was it Rebecca? Send me an email. Let me know what you want. I'll send you a goodie bag of... Oh, you were asking me about what's it called? Worms? Stuff. I'll send you some stuff. Anyway. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you next one. Video coming out soon. Make sure you click, like, subscribe, all those good things. Send buttons, click things, all that. Yeah, whatever. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye!